Despite wanting it to be otherwise, vegan or not, we cannot live and avoid killing. Killing is a part of the human experience. Living today, even for vegans, involves participating unwittingly in the death of sentient individuals. For example, animal products are found in and used in the production of a great number of consumer goods, which include auto upholstery, beer, bread, candles, chewing gum, cosmetics, cranberry juice, deodorant, just to name a few. We can rail against the massive violence that is done to the huge number of living beings who did nothing to deserve their tragic fates, but neither our political commitments nor our moral outrage place us above the violent fray. All aspects of consumption in late capitalism involve harming others, human and non-human. That's the totality and the organizational function of capitalism, which is to harm human and non-human. Okay? However, vegans have attended to the tragedy that farmed animals experience, but have generally paid less attention to the harms other animals suffer in the production of vegan foods. Now, thinking about consumption in a time of climate change may provide a clearer way to understand the ripples of responsibility. And although it is hard to calculate the direct harms to humans and other animals from greenhouse gas emissions attributable to the agricultural sector, it is impossible not to contribute to these harms and still eat. To be clear, vegan diets are less harmful than those that include animal products. But vegan diets are by no means emissions neutral. And this is just one dimension upon which humans, vegan and non-vegan, negatively impact the earth and other animals. If we picture our responsibilities as a web with direct harms at the center, vegans are certainly closer to the periphery than those who consume animal bodies, who kill animals, and who directly profit from the death of other animals. But vegans are still a part of the web, and not as many practitioners of veganism seem to believe, beyond reproach. In other words, you have some vegans that feel as though they are not a part of any type of web of harm. But due to the organizational functionality of capitalism and the production of food, they are. People are looking for alternatives to the systemic industrialized violence animals suffer in order to become dinner. Though veganism remains an empowering response to this violence, vegans need to remain realistic about the ethical entanglements that accompany life and consumer culture. So to believe, as some do, that veganism is an identity or lifestyle that gives one clean hands is to believe a myth. In contexts like ours, veganism can only be an aspiration. But even as an aspiration, veganism can make a difference in changing systematic cruelty and domination. Vegan Studies engages in veg histories as struggle precisely because it is geared to the abolition of animal exploitation as a part of human life. Veganism is a form of abolition. And to say nothing of the equally important possibilities for human liberation that divesting ourselves of animal exploitation will also entail, this is a part of the fight for animal rights. Vegan Studies engages in veg histories as struggle precisely because it is geared to the abolition of animal exploitation as a part of human life, to say nothing of the equally important possibilities for human liberation that divesting ourselves of animal exploitation will also entail. In short, Vegan Studies and the scholars thereof have as much to learn from each other as from our past, because At whatever scale, the lived experiences of each vegetarian and vegan's past informs the story of how we might widen our circle of concern to those who, as it stands now, have no say in their own futures. The task of the vegan studies scholar is to collect these, honor their contribution, and stand witness to their truth for those that follow.